Hey class, welcome to English 3010 Online. My name is Mr. Shumway. I'll be instructor for this whole spring-summer semester. So this is the first of what will be a series of weekly videos in which I introduce you to the kind of key concepts that we'll be dealing with each week, or talk about the assignments that you have coming up, or address any other concerns. Some of them will be kind of like mini lectures where I talk through some of the kind of core elements of whatever you're working on to help you get a better understanding of what you're doing. But for the most part, what they'll be is they'll just kind of be a way for me to touch base with you in order to help you understand, what your expectations are for any given day of the week in which you're working. So for this one, though, I want to use this as a way to just kind of introduce you to the class, to talk about the things that we'll be doing throughout the semester, and to talk through some of my expectations that I have for you. And so what I want to do is kind of work through the kind of managing of our Blackboard sites, look at our syllabus a little bit, so you guys get a sense of what it is you'll be doing over the next 12 weeks. All right, so to start off then, when you click on our Blackboard site, you'll see this. And so obviously you've used Blackboard before, you'll see any announcements. But because this is an online class, you're going to be spending a lot more time on Blackboard than you would normally. And so it's important that you understand where everything is or where you need to go and where things will be located. So to start out then, you'll notice over here on our sidebar, you have all of our tools that we'll be using throughout the semester. So the syllabus here that we'll take a look at in a second. Any readings that you do that are not found in our book that I'll talk about in a moment will be found here. And then any other resources we have. But most importantly, you'll see your weekly tasks and assignments, and we'll get to that in a second. What I want to do is I want to start out by looking at the syllabus for a minute. Now, we're not going to go through each part of it in detail, but I want to look at the kind of major components of the syllabus so that you guys have kind of an easy understanding of what 3010 is before you start your first week's work. And so for all of you, the syllabus will be found here. This is our online syllabus, and when you pull it up, this is what you'll see. So obviously my name is Michael Shumway. Here's my email address. I will only respond to emails from a Wayne State email, so make sure that if you do have a question that you're sending it from your Wayne State email, and always to this one. I don't have really office hours for an online class, but if you would like to meet face-to-face, we'll have to set something up at least a week in advance, and here's my office for you to find. All right, so what is 3010? So 3010 is an IC course, which means we will be doing a little bit more kind of more intensive writing than you might be used to in 1020. Essentially, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at a potential kind of work community or disciplinary community that you're interested in, a community that you might want to join professionally. And we're going to spend the entirety of our semester investigating that community. So each one of you will be doing something a little bit different. Some of you might be looking at, say, the field of law. Some of you might be looking at education, whatever it is. But what this class will do is will help you get acquainted with the kind of major discursive writing practices of that field, so that you have a sense of the kind of things that you would be doing as a professional once you join that community. So let's take a look at the syllabus, and we'll see how those goals kind of break down. So obviously, since this is an IC course, this is the kind of description of the class. You can take a look at that in your own time. It fills with a C or better. This will fill your your IC competency. And so moving on then. So all of our assignments will be focused around these four ideas: read, write, research, and reflection. These are our learning outcomes for the semester. So each of our projects will, take up these ideas, and you will develop your skills around these ideas, with each piece of writing that you do, whether it's learning how to analyze, different texts that you're reading, or learning how to be flexible in your writing, or to add new research skills to your repertoire, whatever it is. These are the kind of core concepts that are going to be driving our work in 3010. And so everything that you will do will be kind of around those ideas. We do have a required text for this class, which is the Wordsworth Guide to Research, the Wayne State edition. They should be in the library. You pick one up. If you have a different version or an older version or something like that, let me know, email me, and we can kind of figure out if there's any significant differences and how to work around those. But you should be able to pick that up, no problem. So make sure you get that, because we're going to be using that to kind of help us work through some of the kind of the key elements of our various projects. And so looking at our projects then, you have 4 major projects with one final reflection project at the end. And so we'll kind of take a look at those. But here are the basic breakdown of them and how they work out in terms of like page length and things like that. So you have a research guide, which would be the first thing we're working on, then a genre analysis, literature review. And with that literature review, this is kind of like an attachment to this project. You'll be doing a presentation, and we'll talk about that later. And then a formal research proposal. Here are your formats, and I'll kind of go over those when your projects come up. Now, over the next week or two, what I'll be doing is I'll be organizing you guys into small groups, and you'll spend the semester in these groups. And so what'll happen is when you have a paper due, and we have a kind of a quote-unquote peer review day or a draft due, what you'll do is you'll submit a draft to your group, and then you and the 3 or 4 other people in those groups will kind of provide feedback to each other. And so essentially these groups will be a kind of a peer group for you to get feedback, to kind of look at other people's writing, just a chance for you to get to expose yourself to other kinds of writing, what other students are doing and things like that. And so hopefully that will help you kind of develop your own writing and will help you kind of better understand the assignments as they go. And so that's how we'll be doing that. Throughout the semester, you'll also be doing a series of blogs. I think we have 8 in total. These are very informal. You'll just kind of respond to a prompt in a couple hundred words. These prompts are always meant to help you either think about what you've just done or to help you think about what's coming up, just to help you get situated in relationship to the work that you're doing. And I'll be grading these on a 5, 7, 10 out of 10 scale, essentially. So again, here's the points breakdown for all our projects. Here's the percentage breakdown for the class itself. Because this is an online class, there's not exactly an attendance policy, obviously, but I will be expecting you to keep up on these things. Take a look at the plagiarism policy. By now, you should know what plagiarism is. Taking credit for someone else's ideas, or not quoting, things like that. If you do it, you will fail the assignment and potentially the class. So make sure you're not doing it. So one of the other things that I really want to address quickly, because this is an online class, when you're emailing me or your fellow students, you really need to pay attention to the kind of language that you're using. This class is completely geared towards understanding the expectations of a particular community. In this case, it's the community you might want to join professionally. And so as such, you should also reflect on the expectations of our community. And so when you email me, I want you to make sure that you're careful in how you do these things, right? So have a greeting, dear Mr. Shumway, or hello, with always a subject that has, 3010, just the kind of professional level discourse that you should start to get used to, and this is a good way to practice this. So take a look at this kind of etiquette stuff. This is some other policies that I wanted to address really quick. Late work will not be accepted unless an extension has been granted before the actual due date. Now I want to stress that I will not accept late work if we have not discussed an extension beforehand. So that means if it's 11:30 and the paper's due at 11:59, you email me asking for an extension, I'm going to say no. But if you email me like the day or two before and you talk to me and there's some sort of extenuating circumstance, I might consider that. There's no guarantee, but I may consider that. So, if you turn something in late without consulting me, you will get a 0 on that and you will not get any feedback on it. So make sure, that you are on top of your due dates and they are all very clearly listed. So take a look at the rest of the syllabus. Disability services for any of you need them. If you have a disability of some sort that would hinder your progress in this class, contact them. They'll contact me and then we can work something out. Okay, so in terms of the syllabus, the rest of it is all of our assignment descriptions, and I've also included all of the rubrics that I'll be using to grade them, so you know exactly what my expectations are no matter what you're doing. So take a look at those on your own time, and then at the very bottom, what you'll see, excuse me, somewhere down here, is the entire breakdown of our schedule. All right, so that is the syllabus. Now, what I want to focus the rest of this video on is the kind of managing of your day-to-day work. So you'll see here, sorry, when you come onto Blackboard, you'll see this weekly task and assignments. Now, this is the most important tab for you because this is where all of the work will actually get done. So when you click on that, what you'll see is it brings you to this menu. Now, I've broken up our schedule in relationship to the projects that we're working on, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously. And you'll see what weeks we're doing for each one of those projects. And so depending on what week we're on, you'll click on the right project. And again, it's a reminder of the project guide, the description. And then you'll go into your proper folder, okay? So for week 1, let's take a look at week 1. So when you click on this, you'll see something similar for each one of these weeks. you'll have a brief rundown of your work that you'll be expected to do this week, and then a kind of calendar for how you should, a good way to structure that work, or how you should structure that work over the course of the week. So for example, Monday, either Sunday night or Monday night, these videos will go up for you to watch. By Wednesday, you should have watched it and started to work and started to complete your work for that week. So whether it's the reading or whether it's any blog post or whatever you want to work on, regardless, is by the end of the week, this is where you should be. Okay, and so you'll see this on each of our weeks. And so let's take a look at what we have on deck for this week. So you should be watching this video. Excuse me, sorry about that. You should be reading the Project 1 description just to make sure that you understand what Project 1 is looking at. That'll give us kind of a basis to work off of. You should also be reading Chapter 1. If it says WG, this is what we're talking about, the Wordsworth Guide, and any other kind of supplemental readings. So what that's going to do is it's going to help you understand some of the concepts that we're working with in Project 1. And then Friday, you should go read the Swales Wikipedia entry, and that should be under our Readings tab. And then by Sunday, you should be completing your first blog post. Now, all blogs will be due at 11:59 p.m. Sunday night. And again, just like other projects, I will not be accepting them late. They're all worth 10 points, so make sure you get, you stay up to date on them because they can add up. I mean, 80 points at the end of the semester is a big deal if you miss your blog points. And so down here, I've got the required materials you'll need for this week and the learning objectives that we'll be working on for any given week. So again, each one of these little weekly folders will acquaint you with the kind of focused work and expectations you have for that particular week. So that way it'll help you, kind of from getting overwhelmed with all this work you have to do on your own to just focus in on this one little thing. So down here you'll see a couple different things. You've got your first blog. So all you'll do is you'll click blog 1. Here's your prompt. You'll respond to the prompt. You'll create your blog entry, title it. Make sure you put your name in the title, and then you type your blog, and then you post your entry, and it'll pop right up for me to look at. Okay. Let me go back. Here we go. The other thing that you have to do by the end of the week is you have to take your syllabus quiz. Okay, so this is not that big a deal. It's completely open book, as if I could stop you anyway. All it is it's making sure that you've looked at the syllabus. So I think it's like 10 or 11 points or something like that. Easy stuff to go through. Just make sure that you've seen and understand and acknowledge the major parts of the syllabus, like plagiarism, stuff like that. So make sure you do that by the end of the week and you're good to go. Okay. So that is week 1. So do the reading, watch the video, do your first blog post, get your first quiz done, and you will be off to the races. Okay. I'm sorry. Here's the Swales Wikipedia reading. So for Friday, just click on this, and it should take you right to it. So we can just take a look at week 2 just for review. So you'll see the same thing, right? So here's your breakdown. Here's your weekly rundown. Nothing due this week. Okay. Okay, so just to recap then, every week the first things that you should be doing is going into your weekly folder, looking at your schedule for that week, making sure that you don't have anything due. The schedules that I just showed you, like the weekly schedules, are all the exact same as the schedule on the syllabus, right? It's just, it's just a 1 week snapshot. So whatever you want to follow is up to you, but just make sure that you're staying on time. So for the last couple minutes of this video, what I want to talk about are just kind of my expectations for this class and some things that students often run into. Because it is an online class, this is very much a self-motivated environment. So the work that you do will be driven from your own motivation, essentially. So students that have a hard time kind of being self-motivated and staying on task will not do well in this class. Okay, so if you are that person, then maybe taking a face-to-face 3010 where you do have a little bit more of that kind of hands-on classroom guidance, stuff like that would be helpful. Now, that's not to say that I will not provide you guidance and things like that, but we will not have that same kind of contact. And so if you're comfortable with doing that kind of self-motivation, then you have nothing to worry about. You'll be great. Just make sure that you can police yourself and stay on target. In terms of my expectations, obviously they're a little bit different than a face-to-face class. You will not be participating in the same way that you would in a face-to-face class. However, if you look at our syllabus, I do count participation. The way that I do that is I look at the way that you're interacting with your group members on things like peer review days and stuff like that. And so if I give you, a task to go and comment on peer drafts, then I expect you to do that and provide substantial feedback. And so those are my expectations. Just stay on task, be polite in your conversations with me and with other people, turn your work in on time, and be self-motivated, and you won't have anything to worry about. All right, so I am very much looking forward to reading your work soon. Again, look out for another video next week, and I'll be sending out emails, so check your email every day, and I will see you guys later.